Welcome to another episode of Five Aside on beIN Sports, and we are fresh off the 69th Ballon d'Or ceremony where Ousmane Dembele won the awards. Let's clap it up for our newest Ballon d'Or winner. Fresh off of a treble with Paris Saint-Germain, winning them their first ever Champions League trophy.
Ici c'est Paris.
Do we feel this was a deserved winner of the award? Everybody wants to start.
I mean, we all said it.
Yep, we did.
A week ago today, we all said it deserves to be Dembele. Treble winner, over 40 goals and assists, did everything he needed to do.
Yeah,
it's well deserved.
Not to even mention the impact he had pressing as an attacker.
Yeah.
So he had, I think it was in total 51 GA, but the impact he had in causing those turnovers and just making the other team that much more uncomfortable on top of all the stats, that's the type of stuff that shows his work rate and part of the reason they were able to be so successful as a team, which is what was very unique about Paris this season. So yeah, just congrats to him. Beautiful moment with his mother being there, him getting emotional, brought to tears, his boys from the neighboring city of Paris. So just very inspiring to see and very happy for a deserved winner, I would say. Bringing in the overall top 10 for the award, of course, we had first place, Ousmane Dembele, second place, Lamine Yamal, third, Vitinha, fourth, Mohamed Salah, fifth, Raphina, sixth, Achraf Hakimi, seventh, Kylian Mbappe, eighth, Cole Palmer, very debatable, ninth, Gianluigi Donnarumma, and 10th, Nuno Mendes. Any thoughts on the top 10? Anybody who maybe should have been there or should not be in the top 10?
Raphina at 5 was not something I was expecting.
I agree.
Honestly, the talent of that top 5 is great, but you can't knock the trophies. You can't knock the goals and assists. Just how they kind of did to get there. I think everyone, that's probably the most shocking part of those ratings, is that Raphina was so low. Everyone kind of thought he was one of the finalists to win it. So there's a lot of kind of outcry from the public and understanding of what that trophy really, what does it take to win the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah. I would say too, Pedri 11, but Cole Palmer 8. We might need to flip those just a little bit, in my opinion.
Probably.
For sure.
I think for me, Raphina was probably the biggest shock.
Yeah.
And I think like there's a lot of parallels in just the story between even him and Dembele. Not necessarily like where they come from, but just the trials that they've overcome, the transfers to different clubs, and just where they were at certain points of his career. Like his acceleration, his expedited acceleration has been crazy. So I think he got kind of snubbed not being in the top 3. But then Salah too, top goal scorer of the year, Premier League player of the year, won the league, became the highest foreign goal scorer in the Premier League history, just surpassing Sergio Aguero.
Goal contribution record.
Goal contribution record. He could have been second.
Yeah.
I still think Dembele deserved it, but I think he should have been second.
100%. And I think that kind of takes us into the discussion of, is the Ballon d'Or still the world's most premier trophy in football? And kind of the behind the scenes of what affects the voting that we just mentioned. Because as it is being voted on by journalists, a lot of things that get taken into it is the narratives. When you think about Mohamed Salah, the Egyptian you just spoke of, they wrapped up the title race very early. So the second half of the season, which is most recently in mind for the voters, was not as exciting for Liverpool. Despite his goals and assists, the title's already wrapped up. If they had won the title in a super tight race, maybe last day of the season he scores last minute penalty and they beat out Arsenal, that changes the narrative, then maybe he could have won it. So I think that's very interesting concept to think about. But y'all thoughts on the award overall, and has it lost some of its shine, or do you think it's still at the peak of football?
It's a very competitive award to win, which is why obviously the top rankings are very tight. But no, I definitely would say that it still has, its value, its prestige. You see the emotion that Dembele had when he won that. There's no award that even touches the Ballon d'Or.
Yep.
Obviously the voting process is something that, is often talked about and shine light on. But what else can compete with the Ballon d'Or? There used to be, the FIFA Player of the Year.
Exactly.
They were together at one point, I think, too.
Yeah.
Like it was a collaborative thing.
And they were separate at points.
Because Vinny just won FIFA the best, but not the Ballon d'Or.
I will say one thing that's really cool about the Ballon d'Or now. The freaks of Ronaldo and Messi have let go.
Yeah, the era of terror is over.
The era of terror of those.
It's exciting. You don't know who's gonna win it.
Now having a Ballon d'Or could be won, 2 years instead of some freaks trying to hold it
every single year.
Yeah, I think even the fact that Lamine was second and he was so close to winning it, I think is a testament to just like the journalistic element of it, where it's like people appreciate other than just the stats, the age, how young he is, doing all the things that he's doing, the poise that he's had doing it. I do think that there's something to be said about the like storytelling and a journalistic like perspective on like who's the best player that I do appreciate about the award, even though like some people are like, nah, it should just be most goals, assists, you're the best player. I appreciate that there's a little bit of like personal and even maybe like eye test that's like kind of incorporated into the award.
But with that, it goes into like how is Pedri 11 if we're doing eye test and not just talking about stats. You know what I mean?
On the
and then
top,
how do you objectively decide what's a better story? Because that's subjective. You know what I mean?
It's a subjective
like this
award.
guy was injured a lot. Raphina just hit his prime, but he's 18. Like, what's a better story? You know what I mean?
I think that's the beauty about it. It's
Yeah.
like the Ballon d'Or and like an award like that, like the best player is never gonna. It can never be objective.
Of course.
So it's
exactly.
like the beauty about it is like, yo,
The debates.
100 people got together and said it was you, bro.
Dembele is a player that this generation of fans have grown up with, and they've seen his career from Dortmund to Barcelona to now at PSG. And it's full circle, and I think the ripple effect it will have on French youth and how they approach football, seeing how France unified to support, try to just reach for him, holding that Ballon d'Or. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Coach of the year was Luis Enrique, who's been through a lot in life, of course, losing his daughter just a few years ago and just had to fight through a lot of personal struggles on top of what he's dealt with as a coach. But to be able to bring Paris their first ever Champions League, the treble, help coach up these guys like Dembele to learn how to press and have that level of intensity on the defensive end, well-deserved award as well. So just want to make sure he got his shout out. Speaking of great coaches, we have Jose Mourinho returning to Portugal, this time to coach Benfica, where he started his career in the year 2000. He's back in Liga Portugal. Not with Porto, though, so there is a little bit of that interesting rivalry because Porto, of course, is where he made a name for himself on the 2004 Champions League, which was such an iconic moment, not just for that club, but for that country. But he's going actually to Benfica, where he was before that. So thoughts on this transfer? There's a little bit of a debate right now. Is this actually the right move, or is it just a little bit of nostalgia? So curious your thoughts on Mourinho back in Portugal.
It's interesting because for Mourinho, that's back where he started coaching, honestly,
Yes, sir.
back in 2000, and there's a quote from him as well. He said, I'm honest, I always thought I'll be back to Portugal, but I always thought I'll come back to the national team. And he said that he thinks it's a natural consequence of his career. It happened to be Benfica, a giant club. And I don't say it's a giant club because I am in Benfica. You know what I mean? And so he was just trying to say that, there's a lot of history with the club, even from the social perspective of it.
Yep.
He's a representative of Portuguese football and culture. So why not do it?
100%. Y'all thoughts? Is it symbolic? Is this the right move? Long-term, short-term effects for Benfica? He did just lose out in the Champions League with Fenerbahce, then got this job.
He lost out in the Champions League with Fenerbahce, but he won the Conference League a few years ago with Roma. 26 European trophies in general. Obviously, one of the most storied and accomplished managers ever.
I'm curious to see how, because Benfica, again, huge club, but their reign on the league has kind of loosened.
Fresh off that loss too to Karabakh.
Yep, fresh off that loss in the Champions League. They're now going to play Porto on October 5th, so a lot of storylines going into that game.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see how he'll oppose his kind of style of play and his, charisma. But yeah, if there's anyone who can bring Benfica back, it's him. But it can go either way. It's either going to be great, or it's going to be bad. That's the kind of thing you get with Mourinho.
100%, yeah, and just a lot more exciting for Liga Portugal. So bringing it back to Ligue 1, though, we have Ansu Fati, who is in blistering form, which is amazing to see for a guy that struggled through a lot of injuries. And we're talking about Lamine Yamal and how good he is at 18. Well, Ansu Fati was the star boy before him at Barcelona.
Yep.
If y'all remember what he was doing as a teenager. Scored in his Champions League debut, bagged 2 more goals this weekend. What do you guys think it means to see Ansu Fati back in balling and scoring like this?
It's a great moment to see. It coincides with another star boy who took some time to get to the Ballon d'Or. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that's encouraging. You hope he can continue to stay healthy because healthy Ansu Fati is the truth.
The interesting thing to me will be to see how just like the impact of him being there with Pogba will be.
Yeah.
Obviously Pogba being like arguably like a living legend in the game. And somebody that has also just dealt with a lot of adversity throughout his entire career, whether that be injuries or the press.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see if he can kind of just be like a good influence and kind of like them kind of grow and come back together. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with that partnership.
For sure. We've spoken about Turkey. We've spoken about Portugal. I want to ask you guys, which league would you rather play in, considering fan atmosphere, weather, food, competition in the league, even wages? Which one would y'all go with?
It'll be Portugal, bro.
Yeah, got to. I'm with you. You know I'm Spanish too. I'm with you.
Nah, fair. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good football and culture there. A lot of history of ballers who've come through the ranks.
Yep.
You know, one of my personal favorites growing up when I was younger was Charisma. You know what I mean?
Different sauce. That's a fact.
PlayStation tricks on the pitch. Yeah. So Sporting Lisbon will have to see me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, bro.
What about you?
I'm gonna have to take Turkey. Actually,
Yeah,
I think
Same.
the
Passion is different.
It's just as you know, young African watching the heritage that's gone through that league, Drogba. It's if you can test the metal and like you can kind of rise up to the level that the fans hold you to, you're a living legend in Turkey, and they'll never forget you as long as you live. And I think that the appeal of like how intense it is and how integrated football and culture is to all different aspects of culture there in life, I think that would be super interesting. Obviously, I'm not a pro footballer, so I wouldn't know what it took to get there, but
Yeah, of course.
I'd love to see what that would be like.
Nah, for me, it's easily Turkey. I'm a foodie. Kebab, meze,
Yeah.
Turkish coffee,
Heavy.
baklava.
Yeah.
I'm in there, bro.
I didn't even think
Yeah.
about baklava.
I'm
It's
just
so
eating.
Coach, he's thinking about eating.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? For
Coach, you
real,
see
bro.
what
I'm
you
just
eat?
eating.
You need
bro.
boiled chicken, broccoli, and protein powder, buddy, and water.
I'm just eating, bro.
Coach, he's coming to eat. Or
I gotta go. I'm Spanish, so I gotta go with Portugal. Just seeing the kind of talent that's come out of there. You mentioned Quaresma. Obviously, you have Cristiano Ronaldo and Figo, like Deco. I mean, Leao, the new young boy Kenda. I don't know if y'all saw the goal he recently scored. Unbelievable winger. He looked like a new Leao out of Portugal. So, and then the weather too, I think is a little bit better in Portugal. But food wise, even though I'm Spanish, I might be rocking with you. So I'm gonna go with you on that. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. And this has been another episode of Five Aside on beIN Sports. We'll see you at the next one.